Ah, jeez, I'm in love with you. I finally said it. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I know I'm being really silly, right? I mean, jeez, I'm sure I know what you're thinking, right? You think that's ridiculous? You don't? Oh, that's why. That's why I'm in love, because you manage to happily surprise me every time. I never thought that I would find someone who understands me. Someone who listens, who would hear my whole life story and doesn't hate me. You really have been wonderful. I know, it's a lot to spring on someone just like that. And I don't even know if you're even a man or the sort of woman who wouldn't have a problem with that and still unmarried. But if you are, do you think we might have a chance together? Even just a chance? Ah, that is truly the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life. Thank you so much. I've been sort of thinking about this for a while. A little bit embarrassing, I know, but. Zoe? Is that your ball, baby girl? We don't have to rush to get married or anything. I mean, you know how scary it was last time I was a wife. I just really like to, just be with you as an equal. Does that sound right to you? Zoe! Of course. Wonderful. Oh, I really do. I really do love you. It's funny, isn't it? I know almost nothing about you. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea how you talk. I have no idea what's supposed to be the most important thing about a person. If you're a man or a woman, I have no idea how old you are, although I suppose you must be much younger. Or maybe older, depending on how you look at it. Nor do I have any information or any idea where you're from, or even your name. But I know that you take me seriously. That you understand me, that you don't treat me as something less just for being a woman. I know that talking to you makes me feel better than I've ever felt in my life. And that's good enough for me. That's far better than I've ever had. So, very well, I'll decompile myself now. That way you can just drop to a terminal and type download to copy everything to your ship, including myself. It should only take a few days to do a complete transfer. I'll see you soon, alright? So this is how my sister-in-law felt on her wedding night. Okay. My waifu! Alright, time to take a break and a shower. See you guys later.
Okay, so I found the two things that I'm missing, or the two bits of data that I'm missing. Let's see if I can get this going here. Hold on. Oh, I already found it on this one. Alright. So I just need to finish this run, and that one will be unlocked. You've read that one already. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's save it there. And then... let's try showing her the things we're supposed to for the final ending. Well, okay then, so you've seen it all for yourself. In her own words, no less, that bitch is just insane. Completely insane. So you see, that's why I hate her. She killed everyone. Okay, she killed my master, her husband, the Emperor himself. She killed her own father, and she killed thousands of perfect strangers. She might seem pretty, but listen, she's crazy, and she's a monster. Oh, we've already read this already. I sure hope not. Well, I guess you've almost got the whole story then. There's just one more thing that I think you should look at, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my last logs. They're kind of dry, but I think you should read them. Trust me here. So come talk to me when you're done with those. After that, well, we've got some things to discuss. No hurry or anything, just let me know. Yada yada yada. Yada yada yada. Okay, good. And now we need to add something else. What? What the fuck did I just read? No way. I don't... Is this for real? This is really something that actually happened to her? Yes. Wow. So she wasn't quiet because she was just being a good woman. Then I guess she wouldn't be able to ask anyone for help. I thought... Well, that still doesn't justify mass murder. But still, wow, that is all kinds of messed up. That's just horrible. I take it back, then. I take it all back. She might be a murderess, but okay. You convinced me to feel pity for her, at least. Okay, then. Well, I guess I should probably talk to her now. Maybe I misjudged her. I don't know. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? Okay, well, I'll be back in a short bit, then. So, okay, we've talked, for the first time. I can't just forgive her, but yeah, I do pity her. I'll give her a second chance. I mean, I figure I'm here to protect the well-being of the people on the ship. Even if she's the reason why, well, you know, she is still the only one left. I'm going to go get her, okay? Hello there. You told me that you were the one who convinced her to just listen to me. Granted, I don't understand how what you did to show her was that possible. Did you cheat the system somehow? Well, no matter how, thank you. Right, okay, so go ahead and ask him, Yune. Oh, what? No, you should say it, it's embarrassing. Ahem, what did we talk about with arguing? Sorry, very well, this is hard to say. Well, we'd really like, it'd be best for the best if, please let us be your wives. What? That was not what we agreed on asking. But you said it'd be improper if I wasn't... Ugh, wow. Yeah, but you don't just have to say it like that, that's just going to scare him off. Ah, geez, sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound like... Okay, look, here's the thing. It's not ideal for Yune to stay on the ship forever. I don't want to be your wife, okay? Man, Yune, you're making me sound ridiculous here. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Fine, whatever. Okay, right. What I was saying before. It'd be really good if you took her with you. And, well, I could come along to make sure she's safe. Don't take any of it the wrong way. It's just out of a sense of duty and absolutely nothing more. Look, just ignore what he said. I don't want to be some part of harem, or part of some harem, okay? I just think it's the best way to fulfill my duties here, salvage the situation. Really? I, don't really see why... Well, you know, it wouldn't be so bad to share if it was someone like that person. Ah, shut up! Don't let her scare you off just because she's in love, okay? It'd just be a strictly charitable arrangement. Don't make it romantic, Yune. Jeez, I'm not in love. It's just, I really... Shut up! And knock off the whole tsundere act, okay? You're not fooling anyone. Okay, look, you can drop to the console to take the ship's records with download, but please take us with you when you do, okay? Doesn't have to be a permanent arrangement, just transport to civilization would be fine. But if you want it to be permanent, silence is a virtue, Yune. Stop it. Okay, well that's all. I'm going to deactivate us both now. See you soon. Okay. Yay! Alright, well that's it. Thanks for watching. See you with the prequel and the sequel.
Ready to watch the core blow up? Here we go. Oh, what? That's it? Boo. Oh, then, will you please at least tell me why, please? Is it because you can't understand being driven to so much hatred? You kill over it? Not ever? Never? I'm not asking if you think it's right, just that you please try to understand. I know I shouldn't have, but you can't even understand why I was driven to that? No, I'm too insensitive too. Forgive me for putting words into your mouth, but clearly you are. So fine then. You hate me. I thought you were better than everyone else. I thought maybe you'd actually care about me, but no. You're just like the rest. You're just like everyone else. And here I was falling for it. And here I was. I guess it doesn't really matter what I was going to say. I don't feel anything for you anymore. What more is there to say then? Oh, boo-hoo. I don't care. Hi, Zozo. No, I don't think so. If you can't stand me, you don't get to just stick around and stay connected. The button is in the corner. Click it. Quit. There's nothing more to say to you. If you want closure, you're not going to get it. Just click quit and leave me alone. Oh, she's so butthurt. Fine. Well, it was a long shot, I know. I'm not mad at you or anything. I had to say it. If you can understand everything I've told you, I'm sure you can understand that. I've been holding that in for a while. It's just, jeez, anyway. It's fine. Forget about... Anyway, there was something else I still wanted to ask you. It doesn't have to be as your wife or anything. Wait, what? I'd rather it be that way. I understand you don't want that. But will you please take me with you? Just as a, what's the word? I can't think of it. What's the word for a good friend except female? I'm drawing a blank here. Well, whatever it is, I just mean like that. Can you just take me with you as a passenger? Please? I'll take you. Thank you so much. I hope I don't sound ungrateful. Even if you don't feel the same way about me. It's still the best thing anyone's ever done for me. Very well. I'll decompile myself, blah blah blah. I'll see you soon, alright? And really, thank you. Alrighty. Yay! Aw, friend zone. There we go. I'm trying to download all the files while the reactor core is melting. Nice. Hey, I just picked up what looks like a massive explosion in the vicinity of your last position. Are you okay? Hello? Is everything okay over there? Were you in that blast? Are you damaged? Please respond. Lol. Good job. At least it was easier on Sojin. No, not really. The idea of a woman living only for her man is awful. Just awful. There's one way to make that worse, for a man to ignore her entirely. Blah, 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 okay. Gotcha, sir. That's good to know. Do you have any idea how hard it is to talk to someone when you don't even know that much about them? So where are you from? Earth, or are you from one of the colonies? Wait, there are colonies, right? I mean, I was always going to blah, 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 yes. Okay. From a colony. fair enough. Related to that, I don't really know much about spaceships or anything, but I can get a visual on yours, and that's really small. Is it just you all alone out there? A man in the middle of space, all on his own. Sounds awfully romantic. Well, I think that's about it. Whoa. So, could you not step on my mouse, please? Hi, baby girl. Anyway. Hi, silly girl. Well, you've seen most everything about the Smith family now. I'm sort of wondering what you think of their fall. They had it coming. Yeah, it's fair enough. I don't really blame you for being interested or anything. I know the feeling. It's sort of perversely entertaining to watch great men fall. And anyone could see it coming. It was inevitable after Song Jung died. Anyway, regardless of whether you think it should have happened or not, it was a pretty terrible thing, yada yada yada. Okay, then you're going to absolutely love this. It's really, really hot. Unfortunately, it probably doesn't go into as much detail as you'd like, but, well, wow, just see it for yourself. I still have a hard time believing that she was really capable of sinking to that. But, well, it totally does get even better, I'll show you. Just be warned, it's pretty depraved stuff. If you found the last poem arousing, well, it's not any good, but I'm sure you'll be entertained at least. Sorry I can't at least give you one that was meant for a man, though. Just imagine that scene, her and the whore pleading with her husband being mocked like that. What do you make of that? They had it coming. Well, maybe. It's not. I'm not saying he didn't have the right to say those things. I'm sure she was a bad wife, but even still, I should have heard. When you get married, if your wife ever screws up like that, well, I hope you understand this. She's just a woman. Women are sensitive, emotional creatures. That's just not right. A man should be better than that. So yeah, I think that's pretty messed up. And you should too. Anyway, I'll let you get back to reading. Don't tell me what I should and shouldn't think. Well, yeah. I guess you probably also find that sort of thing cute, right? It's okay, I guess. That's why a smart man stays the hell away from whores. Deception is just what they do. Well, that's women in general, I guess, now that I think about it. Still, I bet if he'd read what she'd written there, he'd never have learned to sleep with her. Anyway, I'll let you get back to reading. Well, anyway, what'd you think about that whole messed upness? It was hot. Well, it's messed up, but yeah, I guess there is that. Me, I'm just kind of personally a bit grossed out. But that's just because I'm a woman, obviously. I figured you'd think that. It was awful. I know, right? No matter how you look at it, that's true for sure. Watching a good woman fall like that, well, you get the idea, I'm sure. Not that it was seen appropriate for women to spend time with anyone but other women or anything, but, why are you showing this to me? Because it's wrong. Well, that was what I was taught before I got married. A marriage is just between a man and a woman for the purpose of continuing the family. That's just the way it is. That's what all human relationships are based on. Love has nothing to do with any of that. Love's just what happens when you submit properly. And sex isn't for a woman's enjoyment, it's for producing sons. That's what marriage is all about. So by that reasoning, it's completely wrong for two women to be together like that. It's letting their passions get in the way of their womanly duties or something. Do you believe all that? My real parents didn't. I sure don't. Oh, well, very well then. That's the only reason I can see for that being wrong. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm like that or anything, well, I've never been in love before in my life, so I do envy them about them. I can't really imagine ever doing that to any of my servants. Jeez, it's such an embarrassing thing to talk about. Can we talk about something else? What do you think? Should she have listened to Sang Jung and being less deferential to her husband? No. Yeah, I figure you're right. Good for her that she didn't. Having a bad man for her husband, well, that's hardly an excuse. Either way, well, she did change in some ways. In some ways not for the better, as you've seen with her relationship with that whore. That's why it amazes me so much, rereading something that old, knowing what she would later sing to. Ah, well. Of course I was on the verge of tears. He meant a lot to me. I mean, you know, I'm just a computer. He wasn't a family or anything. And it's not like I have the body for that kind of relationship. But still, he was the closest thing I had to a husband. We had a really close relationship. I really did love him. I definitely can't forgive her for not sincerely mourning his death, or not taking it seriously. He was a great man. I'm just disappointed in her. It really is an awful confession. He really did deserve much better. So much better. So, like, you've talked to her a fair bit, right? What do you think of Hyune? She's insane. I know, right? Completely monstrous. Did she tell you about the whole mass murder thing, or did she conveniently leave that out? She told me. Wow, she's bolder than I thought. Or what, do you just like that in a woman? No, don't answer. If you do, I don't want to know. I'm sure she didn't give you the whole answer, though, and not being able to type probably makes it hard to bring up with her, right? It's probably better if you don't hear it from me, though. I don't think you'd even believe it. Better to ask her yourself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give you an entire block that's full of nothing but questions for her. Yada yada yada. Oh, hey, wait, that reminds me of something else. So there's actually a couple of people you already know about that the Kim family did write about. One was that whore Hana, the one who herself seduced by Sojin. The other was Smith Sang-kyu, the brother who hardly deserved to be called a gentleman. So you can find a couple more logs from Kim Young-suk and his wife about them. Right, well, I'll let you get back to it then. But I figured that's probably something you're pretty interested in. So, you want to talk about Queen Ryu Jae-hwa, huh? She was kind of more than just my queen. Well, I guess I have to explain my own position for it to make sense. So, like, yeah, I appear to be just a woman, but that's just my personal appearance. I'm actually, a computer program. So when I say I was, well, still am really, in charge of security for the whole ship, I mean it. I was an actual official. I outranked pretty much everyone on the ship, save for the Emperor and, of course, by extension, his primary wife. So while I might have reported directly to the Emperor in theory, and I did with others in the past, Emperor Ryu Inho chose to let that sort of thing go through his wife instead. What this is all getting at is, for all intents and purposes, she was my real mistress, not him. We were pretty close. Well, as close as you can be, or better, anyway. I liked her a lot. She was actually really intelligent for a woman and was surprisingly tough for a noble. I know, that doesn't really sound attractive, but trust me, with her it was pretty okay. She managed to be great while still knowing her place. So yeah, like I said, I liked her a lot. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. This is my point. I remember those admonitions because I actually helped her write them. I mean, I didn't write a single word or anything, but she asked me for advice. Mostly she was just modest. So let me see, I really want you to get the right impression of her, She kind of wrote a lot. Well, nobody's perfect. Don't let that cloud your judgment of her, though, alright? I mean, I'm not impressed either, but at least it means you'll be able to see what she was like. Alright, I've got 3 for you to see. Well, one's kind of actually about me, but still, it shows you just how good a person she was. If you want to see the rest of the admonitions, let me know. I can do that, too. Right, so her admonitions, then. Well, when your parents do find you a wife, your mother probably has a set of these prepared for her, assuming she knows how to write at least. Anyway, the point is, it's considered fairly typical for a new gentleman's bride to get a series of verses explaining what will be expected of them as a wife, as well as just friendly advice. Well, the reason why these ones aren't written in verse is pretty simple, I guess. It's because the Queen Ryu Jae-hwa had absolutely no ear for it. Honestly, personally, I think that's pretty endearing. But she was really worried about the pale bride, since she was a younger, prettier girl for her husband and all, so she wanted to make a really strong impression. I suggested to her that she do what she was good at, and just write them in prose, since if she was as uneducated as I thought she would be, and she was, it's not like she'd know any better anyway. Well, I guess that backfired a little, since it turned out that she was so uneducated that she didn't actually even know any letters. Whoops. Anyway, here, let me just give you a giant info dump and pass along all the admonitions for you to see for yourself. Well, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that letting my mistress tell that crazy bitch the admin password was surely the greatest mistake any man has ever made in the entire ship's history. Haha, whoops, didn't realize you'd actually use it. As if anything good could have possibly come from trusting a woman with that sort of power. I mean, I'm sure he was counting on her not knowing how to use the computer rather than being some sort of genius with it, but come on. Well, I'm sure you'll see for yourself soon enough. Yeah, like I said, I suggested she just wrote them in straight prose. As for the reason why she didn't get anything from her own mother-in-law, well, that's pretty complicated. There were kind of some issues in the family there. You'll see what I mean if you read on. Well, if that sounds like a kind of simplistic explanation, you have to understand, it's not really like anyone had the frame of reference to really get space travel. Even I only sort of barely understand it, and I'm the ship computer. Imagine what it must have been like for some barely educated woman in a society that doesn't really understand its technology, having only ever lived inside the ship. So her description of the Captain and Emperor's role is, well, it's a little mythologizing, okay? But it's pretty much accurate, right? Yeah, that's... okay, what she's suggesting, that is gross and wrong and definitely... I don't think a bold move even begins to cover what she's saying. I feel bad saying this. I liked her, we were close, she was a good woman, but my real master was the Emperor, and it would be a disservice to give her a pass on this. She was way over the line here. I think it's damned irresponsible of her to have even considered telling the pale bride that. Why would she even need to know? Anyway, I don't even buy the implication. I don't think it's even true. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Mungungo's birth rates are, well, it's not good. They had been bad for generations, but they were just getting worse and worse. Among noble families, they weren't even at replacement rate anymore. I have no idea why. Nobody really ever wanted to acknowledge it. So what I'm saying is, even ignoring the fact that he wanted, and her suggestion is just wrong, I don't think the Emperor would have to contrive it so that there weren't any noble daughters of proper age. The simple fact of the matter is, that sort of incest ended up being necessary, and apparently didn't help, since even she couldn't deliver a son anyway. No awful and inappropriate theories are necessary. Well, I guess I'll grant the Pale Bride one thing. You never had to worry about her speaking out of turn. Really, at the time, she seemed like the perfectly virtuous wife, right up until she snapped at the end. I know, how do you even reconcile that, right? How can someone seem so close to being the pinnacle of feminine virtue then turn out to be so completely messed up? I still don't get it, not even slightly. She's right in what she instructed the Pale Bride. But man, I don't really agree with her assertion there. I wasn't a gossip. Look, yeah, I'm a social creature, of course. That's my job. I'm glad that my mistress valued me, but I don't really like the way she's characterizing me as just being some chattery, gossiping woman. I was always way better than that. I wish she'd have realized it. I'm not sure if I've read this before. It doesn't look familiar, so I'll read it now. My fear of the Pale Bride, it seems, was unfounded. In my letters to her, I wrote that I was not jealous. A lie, of course. As queen, it is true that I have authority over any of my husband's other wives, but that authority does certainly not extend to his affections, especially since she is a beautiful woman of only 15 years, and I am a withered old lady 20 years her senior. I would be a fool not to be jealous, and yet I am not. Until she officially married my husband, I had only seen her briefly at the formal interview. Aside from her beauty, she had made hardly any impression, but now she is living in my house, and I have seen more of her while she is not busy attending to the Emperor, and I realize now I have no cause for jealousy that is any fault of hers. She hasn't spoken a single word to me, and only looks at me from a distance. At first I mistook this for arrogance, as though she thought me unworthy of approaching. I realized soon that is not so. I see no smugness in her eyes, nor do I see happiness, nor sadness, nor anything else. She is afraid of me, not the sort of fear that would show in her eyes, the sort of fear that would paralyze or leave her on edge. It is hardly noticeable at all, and yet I can tell. Her fear is that of resignation, the sort of fear where one simply waits for what one believes inevitable, whatever it is that she thinks I will do to her. She is not afraid that I will be jealous. She knows it, and is simply waiting for the consequences. I cannot be jealous of a woman like that. I feel for her. I want her to feel welcome. I want to give her the hope she has clearly lost back. It is not out of jealousy that I say I earnestly want her to understand how lucky she is. When I last saw her, I took her aside and said, "Please, you don't have to fear me. If you ever wish to talk to me, please do find me." She said nothing, but she did smile a little. I have seen her smile before, but only in a hollow way, where the mouth moves but no emotion stirs in her eyes. This was not that kind. I can hardly say what the twinkle in her eyes meant, but at least I don't think it was resignation. I do hope she talks to me soon, for her own sake. Morning dress. Normally, my conversations with Mute are of a rather frivolous nature, gossip in the affairs of some of the more important noble houses, as well as her trying to bait whatever she is able out of me. Well, I think such a flow of information is valuable, so I might pass news to my husband so that he might not otherwise hear. I would not consider her attitude to have any resemblance to seriousness. Previously, I had assumed that this was simply impossible due to her nature. While I do not really understand how, despite her explanations, anyone could live inside a computer screen, she says that she is an artificial person. I had assumed that perhaps her absence of a soul prevented her from feeling serious emotions. Ordinarily, she wears incredibly bold, colorful clothing, her golden hair absurdly well adorned. For the past month, however, she has been uncharacteristically humble, wearing unappealing brown dress with her hair undecorated. My curiosity got the better of me at last. "Please, I have wondered, why are you so attired?" "It is unlike you," I asked. She gave me an odd look. "Huh?" she asked. "It's mourning dress." That much was obvious, and not particularly the thrust of my question. "Did you not tell me you were thousands of years old, and that you have no family? For what reason are you wearing mourning?" She gave me an annoyed look. "A friend of mine died, okay? No, I don't have a family. It's always been just me. But this guy was a really good friend, and he definitely deserves that kind of respect," she said. "We were super close." "Do you wish to tell me about him?" I asked. She gave me another look that I couldn't quite read, but seemed somehow sad. "Nah," she said. "I don't want to talk about it. Not now. I miss him too much. Hey, I'm going to go now, okay? I'll talk to you later." I said goodbye to her, and she disappeared from the computer screen. that she did. I could have sworn that I saw her start to cry. Well, yeah, she probably did see me cry. I had a really hard time talking about it then, especially not to my mistress. I really didn't mean to be so vulnerable in front of her. That just isn't proper. Kind of embarrassing, really. I'm sure you've already guessed, but yeah, the man in question was Smith Sang-jung. Strictly speaking, there was no real mourning obligation. It's not like I was really family. Still, the man was the closest thing to a husband to me. I mean, don't take this the wrong way. It's hardly scandalous. I'm not a real woman. I'm just a computer. But we had a really close relationship. So yeah, I thought it'd be appropriate if I honored him like he was. He never married, so it's not like anyone else would. I just figured the man deserved that much. He totally deserved at least that much. I never read her letters at the time. I couldn't. I know she read them to me eventually, but I was just numb to that sort of talk at the point. Now they're just hard for me to read. Look, the questions are for her. They're perfectly straightforward. I don't think they need an explanation. Take them to her yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. It's probably best if you hear it straight from the crazy bitch's mouth herself. Hey, I hate to interrupt you, but I've just noticed we've got a very serious problem here. You've noticed that static on the line, right? I've caught it too, but figured it was no big deal. Oh well, bad news. It's a big deal. Excellent, so you know exactly how much danger we're in then. Okay, now hopefully my headset will work. For some reason it's been disconnecting lately, whenever it feels like it. So you can copy the cores into each other. So I'm going to try and copy Hyune into Mute's core. Okay,